Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. Tonight, we dive into the heart of San Francisco's most explosive off-season debate, one that has every fan on the edge of their seat. Could the Golden State Warriors really be eyeing a seismic shakeup of their core leadership? Or is that trio of stars truly untouchable? We're talking about the very foundation of this franchise, the voices in the huddle, the heartbeat of every playoff run. Rumors have swept across the league that the Warriors might finally break up their legendary triumvirate. But every credible insider source whispers the same secret. There's one player they simply will not trade. Imagine for a moment you're constructing the ultimate championship roster. You've got an aging but transcendent playmaker, a bruising two-way forward who changes any defense with his relentless energy, and a mercurial sharpshooter whose gravity tilts every matchup. Which of those stars do you refuse to part with? Which would you anchor your entire rebuild around? According to Top Clutch Points reporter Brett Siegel, that decision has already been made in the Warriors' war room. They are actively pursuing upgrades, seeking that perfect low-post anchor, that rim-protecting partner to ease pressure off their wings, but they are not, under any circumstances, moving their defensive general. Siegel's sources paint a vivid picture. Ownership and management have convened behind closed doors, laying out scenarios involving blockbuster names across the league: Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, even whispers of a Kyrie Irving reunion. Yet, time after time, the answer is the same. No deal will ever involve that vocal leader, that emotional spike that turns ordinary nights into epic clashes. League circles have heard the same refrain. You could offer every first-round pick for the next 5 years, yet that player remains non-negotiable unless he himself demands a trade. And insiders hint he's made it clear already. He'll never suit up without his shooter teammate on the same roster. But if they're not trading this cornerstone, how exactly are they planning to surround him and the rest of the triumvirate with championship-caliber talent? Head coach Steve Kerr dropped a tantalizing clue in his postseason press conference, focusing not on the wings or backcourt, but on the paint. He signaled that a primary off-season focus will be adding a true big man who can patrol the rim without tethering their small ball identity. That means investing in an athletic center who can switch onto guards when needed, setting sturdy screens and rolling to the rim for alley-oops, while also altering shots in a way no prototype center currently on the roster can. Fans have done the math. Kevin Looney, Trace Jackson-Davis, and rookie Quinton Post showed flashes, but none consistently delivered the interior defense Golden State craves. Is it possible, then, that the Warriors will swap draft picks, stretch big, contracts, or even a young prospect to bring in that missing piece? Some insiders believe a sign-and-trade could free up cap space for a max-slot free agent center, someone with the mobility to thrive in Kerr's scheme. Others whisper about trade discussions with teams like the Pelicans or Hawks, who have intriguing bigs but limited guard depth. Could Golden State leverage a package centered on an expiring contract plus a protected pick to snag a talented rim protector? The possibilities swirl, feeding every offseason mock draft and trade simulator. Of course, none of this would matter if the Warriors were willing to sacrifice their emotional anchor. According to Siegel, the only circumstance under which that untradeable player might be dealt is if he personally asks the powers that be to move on. But after a season in which he logged some of his heaviest minutes, suffering through erratic rotations and relentless playoff intensity, reporters emphasize that he remains fiercely loyal. His bond with the franchise, and with that sharpshooting teammate who set the league ablaze for over a decade, runs too deep to sever for the sake of roster tinkering. Meanwhile, whispers about another core issue emerge: a rising young wing who is seeking a contract extension. His relationship with the front office has been tense as he pushes for a max-level deal that management believes might be premature. Some suggest that the Warriors could explore a sign-and-trade for this young star, perhaps packaging him in pursuit of that dream center. Would they gamble continuity for immediate front-court improvement? That debate pits loyalty to homegrown talent against the brutal calculus of title or bust. Fans are already dividing into camps. One side insists the Warriors must hold their ground and reward player development. The other argues that to reclaim the crown, the risk of a blockbuster swap is worth it. Could this tension finally lead to real movement? Might Golden State package draft assets and the promising wing in order to land a two-way anchor who transforms their weak side help defense? Or will they double down on continuity, trusting that the existing core, paired with a smart draft pick at 50th overall, can still deliver a championship? Some insiders believe that this debate will dominate the Summer League and Summer League workouts, as front office executives track player interviews and public sentiment. Each tweet, each cryptic quote, becomes data in their decision-making matrix. Now, pause for a moment and consider the broader context. The Warriors have tasted defeat at the hands of gritty opponents in 2 straight postseason exits. They know their window is finite, especially with the sharpshooter entering his mid-30s and the defensive general approaching a decade of crushing workload. They've seen dynasties crumble because they hesitated. They've watched champions who refuse to evolve get leapfrogged by younger, hungrier rosters. That imperative to innovate, the fear of staying static, drives every trade rumor and every scouting report on available big men. Is it possible that this summer's boldest move isn't a blockbuster star swap, but a subtle, surgical upgrade? A pick-and-roll center from overseas or a late first steal who brings the defensive instincts they need? Some whisper that the Warriors are eyeing an international prospect who just finished dominating the EuroLeague, a 7'1" rim protector with stretch shooting capability. That could be the perfect complement. Someone who understands spacing, speaks English well enough for quick assimilation, and carries minimal financial risk. Could a hidden gem like that be the missing ingredient? As we await confirmation or denial, one thing is clear: Golden State's off-season will be defined by this tug-of-war between loyalty and necessity, between the comfort of continuity and the cold logic of championship construction. Fans are divided, pundits are predicting extremes, and every front page of The Athletic is filled with hypothetical trade packages. Yet behind all the speculation, one unwavering fact remains. The core nucleus will stay intact. No blockbuster involving the defensive general under any normal circumstances. That pledge anchors the team's identity even as swirling rumors promise radical change. So, Warriors News Fan Report. Viewers, buckle up. The next few weeks will see workouts, private workouts, clandestine negotiations, and perhaps the most crucial drafting period in franchise history. Will the Warriors simply add depth and maintain faith in this veteran-led roster? Or will they seize the moment, reshaping their front court to chase another title while keeping their most prized leader firmly in place? The answers lie ahead, but rest assured, we'll be right here, parsing every leak, analyzing every quote, and speculating on every possible twist. Because for a team this storied, the offseason drama is every bit as compelling as Game 7. If you're still buzzing with anticipation, hit that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and turn on notifications, because the second half of our deep dive is where we connect all the dots and explore the real fallout for Golden State's next title chase. Imagine the headlines when front office execs arrive at the Chase Center facility next week. Warriors pursue elite rim protector. Behind closed doors, team brass lays out their desiderata: size, mobility, defensive IQ, and ideally a three-point shot that keeps the floor spaced for their 3-time MVP and 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. They review tape of international prospects, tweak mock trades in spreadsheet after spreadsheet, and cross-reference injury histories with muscle-tracking data. Every nuance, ankle sprain history, lateral quickness drills, pick-and-pop proficiency, gets a star rating. It's a forensic dissection of potential fits, because in this era of super teams, half measures can derail a dynasty faster than you can say championship window. In one corner of the room sits the draft board. Late first-round sleepers, former college big men who can shoot threes, second-year prospects itching for a breakout. In another corner is the free agency board. Proven centers on short deals, veterans for whom a one-year $10 million deal makes sense, savvy role players who could elevate bench lineups. And in yet another corner is the trade board, littered with sticky notes. Offer 2027 first, Jacob Poeltl, James Wiseman. Inquire Harris for OG. Can we get Bam? The brainstorm sessions extend into the night because there's no off-season off for a franchise that refuses to watch its throne crumble. Now, let's explore 3 likely scenarios that could shape Golden State's roster before next season's opener. First, the lightest Continuity Plus model. The Warriors simply add a veteran backup center on a veteran minimum contract, someone like JaVale McGee for depth, and take a flyer on a late first-round defender overseas. This path preserves cap space for role player signings while giving the existing core more time to gel under a refreshed coaching focus on defense. In this scenario, the triumvirate of Curry, Butler, and Green remains unchallenged. They return as the undeniable leaders, and only incremental tweaks boost the starting lineup. It's the low-risk play, a nod to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yet it leaves open questions about interior defense and rebounding, weaknesses that could be exploited in a 7-game series. Second, the middleweight strategics. The upgrade approach. Golden State trades an expiring contract, perhaps multiple young rotation players like Brandon Clark or Brandon Podziemski, plus a protected mid-first pick for an established rim protector such as Robert Williams III, who can anchor the paint and switch out to the perimeter. This move sacrifices youth and draft capital, but immediately addresses the biggest Achilles heel from the recent playoffs: paint defense and shot blocking. In return, you get a player who has thrived under high pressure in Boston, a proven, postseason performer who understands the championship's blueprint. That would give Kerr the freedom to shrink Draymond's minutes at center, playing him more as a hybrid forward, unleashing his defensive playmaking without worrying about opposing bigs feasting inside. But the cost is steep, and the risk is that Williams' personality and playing style may not integrate seamlessly into a splash-first offense. Third, the heavyweight splash marquee gamble. The Warriors package multiple draft picks, young assets, and an expiring contract to chase a bona fide superstar like Nikola Jokic, swapping Green and 3 first-round picks in a blockbuster deal. This is the stuff of blockbuster headlines, a what-if scenario that sends shockwaves across the league. But it also carries the greatest gamble, dismantling the identity we've cherished for a decade and betting the franchise's future. In on one trade. Even if the pieces fit on paper, Curry's gravity, Butler's two-way intensity, and Jokic's generational passing ability, it risks blowing up locker room chemistry and alienating fans who cherish the homegrown core. Most insiders view this as a non-starter for Golden State ownership, who have repeatedly emphasized loyalty to the 3 cornerstones. As we sift through these possibilities, consider the parallel drama of the contract extension looming for Jonathan Kuminga. The young forward has staked his claim as a rising star with his athleticism and upside, yet his salary demands pose a conundrum. Do the Warriors commit max dollars to a 4th option and risk cap doldrums, or do they explore a sign and trade that could net them a draft pick or a role player? Some believe Kuminga's situation will serve as the fulcrum for any major deal. If the front office signals willingness to let him walk via sign and trade, that raises the potential of extracting value for a coveted center. If they extend him, that diminishes their ability to make major cap-driven moves. It's a high-stakes game, and the outcome will echo for years. But above all these trades, plots, and projections, one principle remains ironclad. The Warriors are determined to keep their emotional core intact. The unshakable bond between Curry's unparalleled offense and Green's defensive ferocity is a synergy no draft or trade simulation can replicate. As Siegel emphasized, the only way Green departs is if he personally demands it. And even then, the culture shock of losing that voice in the huddle would send ripples far beyond the court. Faithful fans know that this is a franchise built on loyalty, resilience, and a commitment to innovation without sacrificing identity. So, where do we stand? Golden State's front office will return to work this week, meeting with agents, crunching, analytics, and testing the waters in private negotiations. Every step they take will be watched by media outlets and dissected by rival executives. Yet, one thing is certain. The next few weeks will define whether the Warriors enter the 2025-26 season with a slight tweak or a seismic shift. Will they opt for continuity, trusting that deeper defensive schemes and improved player development can carry this core back to the NBA Finals? Or will they seize a risky opportunity, transforming the roster in pursuit of one more championship while they still can? As fans, we can only wait, debate, and speculate. And of course, tune in to Warriors News Fan Report for the definitive analysis as the story unfolds. Thank you for sticking with us through this in-depth exploration. Don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments. What trade scenario makes the most sense? And subscribe so you never miss an update from the heart of Golden State's offseason. Until next time, keep believing in the quest for gold and stay true to the Bay.